plot today. Mark and I are here. He came up yesterday and cut the grass in the communal area, and he's been up this morning already and built some things for me. I asked him to build a bean structure for me because I want to grow the beans up against the wall this year, but I don't want them in pots. I'm going to put them straight into the ground, and I wanted something for them to climb up, and he's put something together with some of the wood that we already have. I'm hoping it's going to be robust enough to carry the beans, but what he's making he's going to make two of, and I'm very surprised to get here to find that he's actually painted it, but he does like things to look how he wants things to look. So I, thinking of making things look how I want them, have come up to create the wheelbarrow herb planter and to think about planting up some of the existing herbs along the back of what's going to become the strawberry bed. I also have some broad beans to plant out today. They are dreadnought, I think, broad dreadnought. I bought them, and I also have some broad bean seeds to sow as well. I've just been having a little look around. It doesn't look very different how it looked the last time I was here, which is a couple of weeks ago now. But my chives are growing up really nicely. The foxgloves that are in the beds in the centre are looking really nice, and yeah, it's fine. Just a little bit of weeding needs to do, but I've actually injured my right arm, unfortunately. Just put those down. It doesn't hurt all the time, but when I try and do certain things I get this really bad pain in my muscle down, well, feels like it's in my muscle, from my shoulder down to my near my elbow, and it really hurts. It can just be putting a cup of tea down on a table. It's random when it hurts, but it's, yeah. So I'm not going to be doing anything too heavy duty. I also have a few things here that I want to take home because I've been putting trellis along the fence at home, which I'll show you in the next video. And that has really, I just like just having the trellis up is really nice. It's one of those expandable willow trellises. And I've ordered some more plants for the garden at home. Of course I have. I already don't have room for the ones I've got, so naturally it stands to reason that I'm going to order even more. The tiny perennial plug plant collection turned up yesterday, and the first thing I did was, well, my youngest threw it straight on the floor, so all the baby plants went on the floor, but they have survived mostly, and I'm going to show you those in the next video. I've also ordered a clematis, which I'm really happy about, really excited about, because it's a blue clematis and I think it's going to look lovely. So I'm going to take home some of the bigger pots that I brought up last year here, give them a really good clean, although they didn't grow any brassicas in and we didn't put soil from the allotment in them, so the risk of them having clubroot contamination is minimal, but still, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to give them a rinse out. I'm going to take them home and clean them again at home. Yeah, the compost bin has started to fall apart, unfortunately. Mark realised that the panels, he did some work to it last year to bolster it. Well, I don't know if it's the wind or just the weight or just the bottom of it rotting, but it's started to collapse sideways, so I'll show you that in a moment as well. And yeah, he's just going to put some holes in the bottom of the wheelbarrow for me, and then I'm going to take it, put it into position, and we'll get going with it. A really good point actually is that I don't know if I've got any compost here. Probably should have thought of that before. Yeah, let's go see what we've got. So this is the herb bed currently. I'm going to get in and cut this back. Hard, but not too hard, obviously. I don't want to kill the plants. And I'm going to start taking these out because they are going to go in the new strawberry bed. And then this bed will be useful for something else. So I'm going to get started on that because Mark is having a bit of a time drilling through the bottom of the wheelbarrow. I thought it already had holes in it. It doesn't. The wheel and the tyre is knackered, for want of a better word, but yeah, it's taking some drilling through. So I've just come to cut back and move the herbs from here to put in the strawberry bed, but to be honest, with the exception of the lemon balm, they've grown so leggy and woody that actually I think with the sage and the rosemary I'm just going to replace them. I'm having to walk all the way around because I'm in the way of the path. He loves it when I come with him. He does, really, he does. So I'm just gonna cut them back to dig them out really. But the lemon balm looks absolutely fine. I might regret planting it in a bed eventually, but we'll see. It smells amazing. My secateurs also need a bit of work. They're very very stiff and need oiling and cleaning properly and sharpening as well. Just everything, you need everything. So I shall hand this to my husband at some point. But luckily the lemon balm just snapped off instead, so I've cleared that now. But I think what I'll do instead, because my arm's just not up to digging those out right now, is I will get started on the wheelbarrow. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Now, because of the type of plants I'm going to be planting in here, so sort of Mediterranean herbs, I could have added horticultural grit to this, and I haven't because I haven't got any. So it's just going to have to go up in compost, but it's all entirely compost, so it will drain quite freely. And obviously Mark's put those holes in the bottom as well, stop it getting waterlogged, but we'll just see what happens, won't we? So that looks okay. Let's get it planted up. That's the exciting bit, isn't it? Last year I brought this Arthur Bell rose up with me to plant out at the allotment, and it never got planted. And actually I think I'd like this at home, so I'm going to take this home with me today. I've also Mark and I have organised a stack of bigger pots to take home as well, and yeah, so in the next few days I'm going to be able to get a lot of that cottage garden container garden planted up. Cottage container garden planted up, and this is a climber, so this should be really nice, and it smells amazing. It's a beautiful yellow rose with amazing fragrance, so I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, let's get some more weeding done. There's a few beds I'd like to get weeded now, and then it might be time to go pick the kids up. So it's time for me to go home now, so I want to show you what we've done. So first, starting off with Mark's bean frame, which is great. It's hammered into the ground quite far with some metal rods, and then it's got those little feet support. So I'm going to plant straight into the ground here. Just pull back the bark and grow straight up there. Those canes are all in the ground as well, and he's going to build a second one to go along the side. So I've been weeding. I've weeded these beds. I've just left the forget-me-not in there. Yep. Just done a little bit. There's my rose that I'm going to take home. The foxgloves in here are looking okay. I transplanted that one. It's not looking too bad. Haven't weeded this bed, but there's some calendula growing in there as well, so I'm going to leave that for now. Strawberries are looking a lot better since I weeded them the last time I was here. Obviously these beds are all empty anyway. Jerusalem artichoke bed over there in the corner. I've just given that a light weed. There wasn't much growing in there because I did it last time. The Jerusalem artichokes had been dug out, or some of them had. So yeah. And Mark's put the lemon balm over here. It's a beast of a plant. It was obviously very happy where it was. I might regret putting it in here later down the line. We'll see. I won't be putting him in tin, but similar thing with lemon balm. I think sometimes if it's happy, obviously the paths need a good weed. The buttercup's coming back a bit. My chives are doing good in here, doing well, but they need to come out because the level of the compost in here is way too low. So I want to chop these up and I'll put the chives somewhere else. Planted these in here because we had carrots in last year, and carrot root fly doesn't like alliums, so I also had onions in here, but I think I'll just do that again. I'll just plant onions with carrots. My dad's going to want to grow some parsnips, so he might end up using these beds. We'll see. They do look a little bit ropey now, does the soil, but that's just the rain and the worms working together to push all the junk out of the soil. So yeah. So yes, I'm very happy the broad beans are in. Now they are multi-sown and I haven't separated them because they look too close together. So yeah, they look good. And the pond is looking okay, but the Origeron doesn't look very happy around the edge. But this is where I'm going to put my cottage garden planting in, because I just think if the pond is going to become home to wildlife, then that wildlife needs cover, needs some way to hide from predators. So I'm going to plant some cottage garden plants in this corner and down this border, because if you can see, it's quite a sizable path here, and I don't really need all this space. I'm also going to plant some gooseberries in and amongst here as well, so it'll be a mixed border, ornamentals and edibles. And yeah, it's pretty much looking as we'd expect. Mark's emptied some of the big tubs into the beds over here where I got the celery out last time, and where he's got the herbs out for me here. He's just weeding the path and getting these strawberries out, but he's not enjoying himself. As he says, weeding's a job. It's horrible to do, but it's really, really worthwhile doing, and it does make a massive difference. Oh yeah, that's where the lemon balm and everything's come out of, and I've just given this bit a little weed here. This is going to be a little flower bed as well, and I think I've got some things in mind. I've got quite a tall achillea in mind for here, and some Verbena bonariensis will look nice as well. So something tall that's going to grow above the fence. The fence is just 3 foot tall, so yeah, I think that'll look nice. Now it's time for me to go home and pick up the kids, and yeah, we'll go have a look around the garden at home. Hello, welcome back to the garden at home. It's Thursday and a few days have passed. We've had lots of inclement weather. It's been rubbish. We've had all the seasons in a day yesterday. It was warm and sunny, snowing, hailing, sleeting, off and on, sunshine coming out every 10 minutes. And oh yeah, it's just been bonkers British weather, but typical for this time of year. So I've been shopping because I couldn't do the gardening. So I have bought some climbers, because one thing I thought this garden needs, it needs enclosing. So, and firstly I want to say, my neighbours are very nice. It's nothing to do with my neighbours, but I would like to create a little bit more privacy in the back garden, just because I think we all want a garden that's not overlooked. And I live in a very typical semi-detached house in England. It's very, very typical for the UK and Ireland. And yeah, we overlook each other's gardens, but my neighbours have a deck that comes out quite high up, so they are head and shoulders above the fence, whereas I am not. It's supposed to be 6 foot, but I think it's 5'6". But then I'm 5'3", so anything above 5'6" is 6 foot plus to me anyway, because I'm all the way down here. So, and I think the garden, I chose the layout of this garden, right? But I chose it before I got into gardening. I knew I wanted to garden. I knew I wanted a garden because I'd not had one before, other than a very small terraced house garden with a path all the way through. It was very open, not enclosed at all. So I knew I wanted a garden, but I didn't know I was going to get into gardening in quite the way that I have. So there's a lot of patio, there's a bit of lawn, and then there's a small amount of border. I think it's really lacking interest in this garden. Obviously, the borders will look very nice when they grow up and do what they do, but there's a lot of fence, there's a lot of wall, and so that's why I'm bringing back the pots and growing in those. Now, we've decided that we would like to have an arbour, a garden arbour, so just like a bench with a roof over, and hopefully we're trying to find one that has a solid back but open sides, either trellis or just open, so that we can still see. Because my idea, I've often got a child inside and a child outside, and my kids are both neurodivergent and they need supervision, but I am one person, and in like the school holidays when they're home and my husband's not here, I need to be able to supervise them. So the idea of being able to sit over by the fence and keep an eye on them both is kind of what I would like. Also, it'd be nice on a morning when I've dropped them off at school to come out and have a coffee or a cup of tea in the garden and sit there and survey all of my garden. So to create that kind of effect, that's going to be over 2 meters tall, and like I said, I think the fence is only like somewhere between 5'6" and 6 foot. So that's going to create a little bit of screening, I guess, but not too much. And I don't want to block all my neighbours' light or anything like that. So what I would like to do then is and I've already started doing this, add in trellis to the fence panels that are not going to be covered by this arbour. And it's just an expanding willow trellis that I already have. I've got one at the allotment. I was going to bring it back with me and I forgot it. And I'm going to need 2 more pieces as well. So I'm going to do that. I'll show you how I've done it already. And I'm going to need climbers. So I went to B&M yesterday to get cat litter tray. That's what I wanted, new cat litter tray. And I ended up spending 80 quid on this cat litter tray. Well, not on the cat litter tray, on plants. And I didn't spend 80 quid on plants. I wish. These climbers were 3 for a tenner. And so I got 2 clematis, a group 2 and a group 3. This is quite a large one. This is a bit more of a medium size, like a 2-meter one. This one actually has flower buds on it already. So they do look very lovely. They are a 12 violet and carnaby. And I also picked up a honeysuckle, gold flame, and this jasmine, Bizianum. I might be butchering the names again. I apologise if I am. So I got those 2. Now that's 4, 3 for a tenner. I also picked up, because these were included in the offer, blueberries as well. So we've got Blue Crop and Brigitte. Now with blueberries, the more varieties you have, the more cross-pollination you get, the better crop, theoretically. So the other 2 that I've got at the allotment, I can't remember the varieties, but they are, I've had them a year now. There's only 2. And they produced an okay crop last year, but it was their first year with me, so that's to be expected. So that's what I got from B&M. I also picked up a hydrangea. Now, the day before I went to B&M, I went to my local garden centre for a hydrangea because I wanted a blue one. Now, I have alkaline soil here, so in order to have a blue hydrangea, I have to either amend the soil or grow it in ericaceous compost, which is what I'm going to do. So I picked up the hydrangea, and the variety is Little Blue. Now that only grows to about 60 centimetres tall, so it's going to be perfect for a container in the garden, and it should look lovely. Now then, when I went to B&M, they had hydrangeas, and it just says macrophylla. It doesn't tell me any specific varieties other than that, and it says it gets to 50 centimeters tall, so it's also a small variety. So now I have two. I didn't mean to get two, just happened. And from my local garden centre, I also picked up 3 Verbena bonariensis plants, and these are for the allotment. They need water actually, they're quite light. So that's what I got from there. And from the garden centre, a couple of days before that, when I went with my parents, I got 3 more scabious plants because I ended up giving the 2 that I bought to my mum for Mother's Day, along with some other things, other plants. And I also got, I'm having a look now and see what it is. I got an Erysimum Bowls Mauve. I bought 3 of them. They are really lovely. The bees love them and they flower all summer long. And then, what else did I get? Achillea Colorado. So I'm going to take one of those to the allotment, along with the Verbena bonariensis and this terracotta Achillea, because the area next to the shed that I want to turn into cottage garden planting, that area is it gets a bit shady because there's a shed to one side to the west, and then to the east and the south there's the fence. So I want plants that are quite tall, that are going to grow above the shade and hopefully enjoy the sun. And I thought that would be a good way to do it. I've also, take a breath, Lindsay, take a breath. I've also ordered a rose for there, and I've ordered a rose that I've got in the garden here because it is so beautiful. It's called Peach Melba. So I've got my Peach Melba rose here, which is probably going to go against the fence over there where the trellises are. And it's a beautiful rose. I will insert some pictures because it's one that I've had for a few years now, and the first year I got it, it did amazingly well. I put it in the ground, it didn't like it. I think because we've got a mole that lives under that border, it just didn't like it. So I dug it out and put it in a pot. It struggled on last year, but it really looks healthy this year. So I've mulched it with some well rotted manure, and hopefully it will continue to thrive. So that's the plan so far. Now, what else have I been up to? As I said earlier, I got my perennial plug plant collection. Look how little they are. They're so tiny. They're so tiny. And I'm going to pot those on into module trays. But I'm going to use small module trays because I'm going to use something like this. In fact, even smaller than this would be better, because if you pot them up too big, they're going to run the risk of rotting. They're not going to be good for the garden this year, these plants, and so they're going to need time to grow on and develop. So I'm going to do those. I haven't done them yet. I've sown some spring onions. The variety is White Lisbon, Bolt Hardy beetroot, Little Gem lettuce, what's that called? Winter Density, that variety. And I have got some leeks, which are Bandit and Jolant. And actually, I watched Charles Dowding's latest video about leeks, and those were 2 that he recommended. And I just happened to have those varieties in my collection, so I have sown those. The brassica plugs that arrived are still not looking great. I potted them on instead of planting them out because, honestly, they just look a bit crap. So, see how they go. What else did I do? I sowed some larkspur, nothing on that yet. And I sowed some Erigeron cavinscanus indoors, which has germinated, and they are absolutely tiny. I'll show you those. And then I have sown some Verbena bonariensis, which are not showing yet either, because I could always use more Verbena bonariensis. So yeah, planted up my dahlias. Was very disappointed in some of them. 3 of them came without any compost in the bags, and they're dried up, shriveled up completely. Now, one of them, the one that I was really looking forward to actually, is Teesbrook Audrey. This one, there was a stem and there were 2 tubers, but they were no longer attached to each other. So there is a tiny bit of tuber attached to the stem, but there were eyes on 2 of the tubers. So I have still potted it up, and we'll just hope and see what happens. They're all going in pots. What pots, I don't know, because I seem to be running out because I'm planted so much up. So yeah, but yeah, I was a bit disappointed. The ones that I really, really love though, the Tropical Sheer Heaven, they were really big, substantial tubers that looked really healthy, so they were good. And they were on sale at $1.99 a tuber, but I still expect when something's on sale for it to be fit for purpose. But yeah, I don't know if it was oversight not putting compost in the bags. I've never bought dahlias without some dry compost in the bags. But yes, anyway, everything else is looking okay. The bare root plants we did last time are all doing as I expect them to do. I'm going to get a big pot that I brought from the allotment, bring it in here, and put my sweet peas directly in and leave them in here out of the way, just for the next few weeks. It's going to get in the way. It's going to annoy me. I know it will, but it's the best way to do it. I don't see the point in dividing it up to pot them on to then do it again. So I'm just going to do it before they get too entangled. Here they are. Before they get too entangled, and they get too hard to divide, I'm going to do that. You can keep pinching the tops out anyway for a bit. So thank you so much for being with us. I'm going to be back just in a few days, hopefully, because it's the Easter holidays coming up now and Mark's off for a week, so I'm hoping we're going to get plenty of time to get stuff done. I need to plant some things up into the front garden. The weather is going to warm up after today again, so hopefully we'll get quite a few jobs done, and I will bring you along with us. So as always, if you are new here, please consider subscribing. I would love to see you come back. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and say hello in the comments. I do love to hear from you. I always try and reply, and yeah, it does help the channel. Give us a hype, whatever that does. It's all free, doesn't cost any of you anything, and yeah, it helps me to reach new people who love gardening as much as I do. So thank you so much for being with me this week, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.